Which Week 6 NFL games are must bets? Welcome, football fans, gridiron gamblers, and degenerates. It's Mitch here with the 5 spreads that you should bet in Week 6. If that sounds good, Gronk, spike the like button. Don't be a jabroni and subscribe to Money Mitch. My goal on this channel is to help you win some money betting on the NFL in 2025 and beyond. We have multiple best bet shows every single week. And as always, I welcome you to get in the comments and let me know what your best bet is versus the spread for Week 6. Let's get started. Let's waste no more time. Let's build off of an electric, exciting Week 5 with some picks for Week 6. Now, I'm going to begin with the most relevant game first. And that game, of course, we're going back to London. I like the Broncos versus the Jets. The Jets are the only winless team in the NFL, I do believe, remaining, and they're going to stay winless. I believe the Denver Broncos are on the incline. This is a week where they make a statement. This is a primetime game. I know that it's really early in the morning, especially for the Pacific time zone, me included. You got to get up to watch Justin Fields. Yeah, probably no thanks. But if you are up and you want to watch some football, you might as well bet on the game. And I'm telling you to bet on the Broncos. It's a great matchup for Denver from a football perspective. First of all, I like what I saw from Bo Nix for the first time all season in the second half against the Eagles. He was decisive. He was making downfield throws. He was trusting his receivers in one-on-ones. This week, they're going to take on a Jets defense that's highly predictable, plays a ton of man coverage, can't really stop the run all that well, doesn't really get to the quarterback all that well. You counter that with Denver has an excellent offensive line. Denver has a play caller in Sean Payton that if you give him simplistic looks, especially Aaron Glenn, who Sean Payton knows very well, because Aaron Glenn worked under Sean Payton. I think he also may have played under Sean Payton in New Orleans. So there is a connection there of some degree. Steve Wilks right now, the defensive play caller of the Jets, is one of the worst in football. They play way too much man coverage. They're way too simplistic. They blitz. It's not going to work. Denver has Cortland Sutton you got to deal with. They have, I believe, one of still the better play callers in football in Sean Payton. A guy that's going to find the matchups, a guy that's going to exploit this defense. Marvin Mims, Franklin, these guys, what do they offer? They're not great receivers, but they offer speed. All you need is some crossers with some speed against man coverage. And these corners for the Jets, Michael Carter, still injured, their nickel cornerback, did not play last week. I don't know if he'll play this week. He's dealing with a concussion. Brandon Stevens is slow. Sauce Gardner's kind of slow. If Sauce Gardner takes Cortland Sutton, I think we're going to find matchups for Evan Ingram. I think they're going to find matchups for maybe Harvey coming out of the backfield. Sean Payton is going to find ways to dissect this defense schematically. And Bo Nix, with his legs, is going to be able to take off and move and run. The Broncos have also been running the ball much better lately. You look at how they ran the ball against the Eagles and the Bengals. J.K. Dobbins has been playing really well. That has allowed them to have some balance and better early down success, which they really struggled with early in the season. The Jets just conceded like 150 plus yards to Javonte Williams with half his offensive line from the Dallas Cowboys. You don't think Sean Payton's going to take advantage of the very same thing? I just think the Broncos are going to move the ball, control the game, and when the Jets are having to play not in that style, controlling the game, running the ball, trying to win that battle, which they won't be able to against the Broncos. The Broncos have one of the best fronts in football. They have one of the best pass rushes in the NFL. They lead the NFL in pressures with only a 4-man rush. Nick Bonito is a dog. Zach Allen, John Franklin Myers, John Cooper, these guys are dogs. This is maybe the best pass rush next to Houston in the NFL. You've got Pat Surtain, who can shadow and take away Garrett Wilson. I love how Denver is just going to be able to stack the box. Vance Joseph, he's really good at this. If you can only be one-dimensional and do one thing well, he's just going to pack the box with bodies. They're going to send blitzes from different angles on Justin Fields. They're going to be able to play man-to-man against the lousy Jets receivers. And even Riley Moss won't be exposed here because there's no number 2 for the Jets. So I think the Jets are going to struggle. I like the team that's favored in these spots in London. These Europe games, typically they cover. I like these teams that are well coached. I like these teams that are going to be well prepared with good leadership. I like the good offensive line of Denver. I like the good defensive line of Denver against a team that if they get behind the 8 ball, they can't throw the ball. Justin Fields is not a drop back passer. And if they decide to throw the ball, they're facing one of the best pass defenses in the NFL. The Broncos are coming off a big win against the Eagles, but I do believe they keep their focus and they build their momentum. I think the Broncos are just getting started. I think they win this game and win this game convincingly. I would lay 6.5, 7. It's 7.5 at some spots, but it is tilting towards 7, 6.5. So wait until it gets to 7, 6.5, and lay that touchdown because I do believe Denver will win by 2 scores in this game. The Cowboys did it on the road. I think Denver will do it in the neutral site. So give me the Broncos here to win and to cover. The next game, our traditional number 2 spread pick every single week now, it feels like, is the New England Patriots. We're going back to the well. I think we're 3-1 with the Patriots this season. And the only game we lost was the Steelers game, in which they definitely should have won, if not for 2 turnovers at the 1-yard line. Okay, we'll talk about that for another day. We've talked about it plenty times. But we're going back to the Patriots here. I can't get over how underrated the Patriots are. I understand that they're my favorite team, guys, but I'm not that type of fan. I watch every team. I analyze every team. My job is watching the NFL. I cover it for my other channel, The Bottom Line View. I cover it for Bleacher Report. I'm not some biased analyst. I cover every team, okay? So I am a fan of the Patriots. And sometimes I'm a little over the top with my Patriots fandom for the views, for the fun. But for real, I just think the Patriots are really underrated. Drake May is easily a top 10 quarterback. He's in the MVP discussion. If Sunday Night Football did not prove it to you, I don't know what really can. He went to Buffalo, faced a team that hadn't lost in 14 straight home games, really got very little help from his scheme, and made throw after throw after throw after throw, along with Stephon Diggs balling out to beat the Bills as 8.5-point underdogs. I told you the Patriots would be competitive in that game, and they were, and I said I had even predicted them to win. So the Patriots went into Buffalo and won that game, and their defense held serve with Josh Allen. The defense was looking the best it's looked all year with Christian Gonzalez back. I just think the Patriots are underrated in so many facets. They're underrated at quarterback. They're underrated on the offensive line because last year they were terrible. They were awful. They were no good. They were putrid. This year, they're protecting like a top 10 offensive line. Will Campbell, the left tackle, 4th overall pick. 4 new starters from this year compared to last year, right? Stephon Diggs has elevated the receiving core. Josh McDaniels has elevated the offensive scheme. Milton Williams, Harold Landry, Carlton Davis, Robert Spillane, Tonga. These guys have all elevated the Patriots' defense. This is a different team. People have to get it into their heads that this is a way better roster than what we saw last year. This is a way better coaching staff than what we saw last year. Don't keep talking about the Patriots as if they're the team that had the 3rd or 4th pick, right? This isn't the same team. This is a up-and-coming elite quarterback This is a very well-coached team. This is a top 10 defense, a top 10 pass rush, a top 10 run defense, probably a top 5 cornerback crew led by Gonzalez. This is a good team. And the Saints are not a good team. They're not a good team. Like, Spencer Rattler has won one game in his entire career, and it was last week. And the Giants turned it over 5 times. Honestly, I think the Giants would have hung in that game if not for all those stupid turnovers, including Jackson Dart just literally running and dropping the ball and giving it to the other team, which was outstanding. And I told you to bet on the Saints last week, and I was right. That was going to be their win. The Saints were projected to be the worst team in football this year. Now, they're not the worst team in football, but people keep saying they're like underrated or something. I don't really know where they're underrated. Maybe they're a little bit better on the offensive line. We know they have receiver talent. Their running backs haven't been bad. Like, I guess Kellen Moore, what he's doing with the offense, Rattler hasn't been a disaster. They're protecting the quarterback. They're running the ball well, and the receivers are talented. But the Patriots can take away those receivers as well as any team in the league. This might be the best pass rush they've faced all season. This is the best run defense they've faced all season because there's very few that are better than the Patriots. I don't think the Saints will be able to run the ball, which means that the Saints will be put in really awkward, just really tough situations for a not very good quarterback in Spencer Rattler, who doesn't have a particularly strong arm, is not very athletic, cannot really make anything happen outside structure. So the Patriots are going to stop the run, get pressure, probably force some sacks and mistakes, and you give the ball more to Drake May, he's just going to pick apart the Saints defense. They have one of, if not the worst pass rush in football. I believe PFF has them graded as the 32nd pass rush in the NFL. And Drake May has been one of the highest success rate passers in football. The Saints play a lot of zone. So that actually doesn't take advantage of the Patriots' weakness, which is their receiving core. If you can play man against the Patriots like the Bills did, the only guy that can really get open is Diggs. But the Saints don't do that. They can't do that. Their corners stink. So May will just be able to pick them apart, run. Balance is coming with Josh McDaniels calling plays. Their screen game is good. The Patriots will just, I think, slowly but surely dominate this game because their defense is a high floor unit each and every week, and their offense is going to keep getting better and better and better and better. So I expect Drake May to continue to prove why he's a great quarterback. I think the Mike Vrabel psyche of this team has me not worried about a potential slip up, because I think that's where maybe people are like, oh, they're going to, after they beat the Bills, they're going to be all like high and mighty. No, I think Mike Vrabel has that covered. I think this team, just like the Broncos, are pointing up. They're on the upward trajectory. These are teams that are ascending with good coaching staffs. The Saints aren't good. They're coming off a win themselves. They're going to lose this game. So give me New England. 3.5 is not enough points. The Patriots will win. The Patriots will cover. They'll win by at least a touchdown. Give me the Patriots here. The third pick is going to be the Los Angeles Rams minus 7.5. And I like exclusively all favorites in this video. There are a couple picks that I had to leave out of this video because I wanted to get it out on Thursday, and there's just like too many injuries on some of these teams in some of these games. So those bets, if I do want to make them, are going to be in my last minute best bets video, which comes out on Saturday, guys. So just stay tuned. I do have a couple spreads that I'm looking at. I just couldn't be decisive with the pick because of all the injuries. But the Los Angeles Rams minus 7.5 also features a lot of injuries for their opponent. The Baltimore Ravens are still extremely beat up. We faded the Ravens last week. We're going to fade the Ravens again. I think, first of all, the Rams have 10 days of rest. The Rams, the biggest mismatch in this game is Sean McVay against the Ravens defense. Sean McVay against the Ravens defensive coordinator. Because he's a jabroni, and the Ravens have a bunch of injuries on defense. They have next to zero pass rush. Matabike is out for the year. They just traded their leading pressure man in Odafe Owe. Their linebacking core, Roquan, has been beat up. Kyle Hamilton might play this game, but he's been beat up. Their corner position, Nate Wiggins, is injured. Chidobe Awuzie is injured. Marlon Humphrey is injured. They're dealing with so many injuries. And think about it this way. Lamar is out of this game. Do the Ravens believe they can beat a contending NFC team with all of these injuries? I know that the Niners just beat them, but this is an angry Rams team that the Ravens don't have the familiarity or the scheme or the schematic prowess of Kyle Shanahan to beat the Rams, especially a pissed off Rams. Like, no chance. They know that Lamar's not playing, and if Lamar's not playing, why are they going to force Kyle Hamilton to play? Why are they going to force Marlon Humphrey or Roquan Smith out on the field when they have a bye week coming up? It just doesn't make any sense. This team's 100% in on let's recover and let's get better after the bye. Let's make our adjustments and let's go on a run. They don't care about this game. The Ravens do not care about this game one bit. Meanwhile, the Rams do. Sorry. The Ravens don't, the Rams do. Because it's 10-day rest. They're angry. Matthew Stafford is playing exquisite football right now. He is a master out there at work. This guy is going out there. He's reading coverages like nobody in the NFL. He's still ripping the football. They're protecting him well. They've got balance with Kyren Williams. This is the worst run defense in football. You've got Puka Nacua, who's uncoverable. You have Devontae Adams, who after last week is kind of a little bit pissed off. He needs the ball more. He's probably going to score a couple touchdowns against this putrid pass defense. They have no pressure on him. Stafford's going to rip him up. They're going to be able to run the ball, have balance. That opens up the whole playbook for McVay. They're going to score like 30-plus points easily. 30 points in this game. The Texans move the ball at will, guys. The Texans. The Houston Texans, who could barely score more than 6 points in 3 quarters against the Tennessee Titans. The Texans. Now, I know the Texans' defense is terrifyingly good, but the Rams do have an equally awesome pass rush, and their pass rush is really disruptive. And again, I don't even know who the Ravens are going to have at quarterback. Cooper Rush, Snoop Huntley, why does it matter? It really doesn't, but they're both trash. They're both QB3s. They're not backups. The Rams have been good against the run all year. They've shut down Saquon. They shut down McCaffrey. They've shut down a bunch of different runners this year. They've actually been strong against the run with that interior trio that they do offer with Poona Ford in the middle this year. They have, big Kobe Turner as well, Braden Fisk. Those guys are really good. Jared Verse coming off the edge. There's offensive line injuries for the Ravens too you've got to look at. So, I don't know, man. The Rams have flaws in the secondary. The Niners were able to take advantage with a very good game plan and a decisive, quick-witted Mac Jones, but I don't see it with the Ravens. They're a run-centric team that won't be able to run the ball. If they can't run the ball, it's their backup quarterback facing a top-end pass rush. It's 7.5, honestly, is not enough. This is just not big enough of a spread. This is a complete mismatch, in my opinion. A complete mismatch. From the coaching to the quarterbacks to the actual evidence of how these teams have played. We're still getting by with the Ravens on their name value. That's what we're really getting by. But they don't have their team right now. They're all injured. So I have the Rams minus 7.5, and I love it in a teaser. Fourth best bet is going to be Buffalo on Monday Night Football, which I probably should have finished with, but I finished with the final game for a good reason because it was my final pick, barely. So the Buffalo Bills minus 4.5 has been a pretty secure, locked and loaded best bet for me since I saw the spread. This is a great spot for the Bills. I understand that it's on the road in Atlanta against a team off a bye. Cool. I will say this about the Falcons. The Falcons do not have a good coaching staff. Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson coming off a bye isn't exactly Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh, okay? It's not Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo. I'm not worried, okay? Second of all, the Bills just lost a game in which they turned it over and took a ton of penalties. The Patriots outplayed them. Josh Allen may have gotten outplayed for the first time in a long time. And that's going to wake up the Buffalo Bills in a big way. I think the Bills are going to put up 38 points, 34 points. They're going to score in this game. James Cook and the Bills' run game is almost unstoppable. The Patriots are, again, guys, I explained this last week. They're one of the few teams that can actually expose the flaws of the Buffalo Bills. They're one of the few teams that has the personnel that actually matches up with the Bills. And a big part of that is because they're in their division. First of all, they have a quarterback that can move, buy time, and make big time throws down the field. They have enough of a run game and size up front where they can force the Bills to play run defense. When the Bills are playing a team that's one-dimensional, they are a very good defense. When they play an offense that has balance, they're not as good. They're more average. But really, the biggest matchup in this game is on the other side. The Patriots have the corners to play man coverage against the Bills' underwhelming receivers. They also have the size to stop the run, and they also have the discipline to contain Josh Allen. Those things are not the same for the Falcons. The Falcons defensively have not been bad this year, but I'm not convinced they have a particularly good pass rush. The Patriots have a much better one. The Falcons won't be able to get pressure against this offensive line, will not be able to touch Josh Allen. So Allen against zone coverage, with all the time in the world, he is going to eat the Falcons alive. Period. And they're going to be able to run the ball. And Josh Allen's pissed off. And on the other side, it's Sean McDermott with Ed Oliver back, a pretty good defensive line of the Bills, against a really, really suspect quarterback in Michael Penix. Michael Penix has not played well this year. He had probably the worst performance I've seen all season versus the Carolina Panthers. He's not terrible, but he has not played particularly great. So if you're telling me that the Falcons are going to be able to put up 30 plus points against this Bills defense, then go ahead and bet on the Falcons. But I just don't see it happening, guys. I don't see it happening. The Bills, what? We talked about this last week. They put up 30 points in every game they've played, except for the Patriots game. So they're going to score 31 points. If you think the Falcons are going to score 27, if you think the Falcons are going to score 30, then go ahead and bet on the Falcons. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think they might score 20, 21, something like the Dolphins game, where a good scheme and a strong run game might keep the Falcons in it for a good portion, but eventually the quarterback will make a mistake. The Bills will blitz him. Penix can't move like Drake May. He's going to take sacks. He's going to get strip, fumble, throw an interception. His mechanics are poor. They're going to force him to flip his hips and throw to his second read. Like, the Bills are going to win this game because they're not going to lose 2 in a row, and they need a statement game. They have been kind of sleepwalking, and I expect them to show up big in this one. So I have Buffalo -4.5 on Monday night, Josh Allen showcase game. The final best bet is going to be the Cowboys, -3 at the Panthers. Now, I debated the Chargers -3.5. I debated the Niners +3.5. These are two games that I need to think about in terms of the injuries. And I'll get back to you guys on Saturday. I like the Niners basically the entire week, but the Bucs injuries and the Niners injuries, there's just so many, it's kind of hard to kind of find out what I want to do. But Dallas has been a team that I'm not going to talk myself out of betting this game, because that's what I really feel like a lot of people are doing. I think the sharp side here has been the Panthers, and I'm not sure why. Carolina is not a very good team, and Dallas matches up with them pretty well. Dak Prescott, first of all, is light years better than Bryce Young. Second, Dallas's defense is not good, but if they do have an area where they are pretty okay, it's run defense. They're 17th in yards per attempt allowed, which is mediocre. Carolina, their entire offense last week was Rico Dowdle running the ball. Now, maybe Rico Dowdle has 2 consecutive 200-yard games and has a revenge game, but that's probably what it's going to take for the Panthers to hang with the Cowboys. because Dallas is going to have Dak Prescott and this offense that is a train, an absolute unit, even on the road, which we saw against the Jets on the road. The Panthers have no pass rush. Tershawn Wharton is injured, first of all. I think they'll get their nickel cornerback, but Dallas is getting back Tyler Guyton, their left tackle, and they might be getting reinforcements to the rest of the offensive line as well. They still don't have CeeDee Lamb. Okay, it is what it is. But what I love about Dallas is they can run the ball on you. They can throw the ball on you. They have an excellent play-action game. And they could very well put together a game plan like the Patriots did against this Panthers defense. I love how Dak's playing. I think they're going to be able to move the ball. I think they're going to score in the high 20s, low 30s. And with time, Dak's deadly. He'll make plays. He deciphers defenses better than most. And on the other side, if Carolina can't just run the ball down an opponent's throat like they did the Dolphins, that forces Bryce Young to participate in the game. Taylor Moton, their right tackle, might be out. He hasn't practiced this week. That's a big loss. Dallas doesn't have a super dynamic pass rush, but that certainly hinders the run game for Carolina and also potentially the pressure on Bryce Young. And Bryce doesn't handle pressure very well, right? On top of that, Carolina has very little in terms of vertical ability throwing the ball. Bryce Young has been the worst quarterback throwing the ball deep this season, and Dallas's main problem has been defending deep passes. It hasn't been the underneath stuff, and it hasn't really been the run game. It's been vertical passes where they just completely don't understand their assignment and give up wide open plays to Russell Wilson and the Giants. I also feel like Dallas's defense has gotten better with their communication. I feel like they found some personnel that works for what they want to do a little bit better, right? At linebacker, they're starting to figure out some names they want to go with. Like, I think Dallas's defense is not quite the disaster it was like 2-3 weeks ago. It's a little bit better. It's still bad, but it's not tragic. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of does take a tragic defense to make the Panthers and Bryce Young look good offensively. So I like the Cowboys here. At a fundamental level, are the Panthers going to win 2 games in a row? Probably not. Lay the field goal. Dallas Cowboys are still underrated because Dak and this offense are just that good, in my opinion. So give me the Cowboys as my final best bet versus the spread for week 6. Those are my picks for now. Remember, guys, I also do over-under best bets, and I also will do last-minute best bets on Friday and Saturday. And if you don't know, I do have a Patreon where I release all of my picks and my real bets, including Thursday night, Monday Night Football, and everything in between. That link will be in the pinned comment. That link will be in the description. Thank you for watching. It's Mitch, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace. Good luck.